Today I'm going to share 2 ways to improve your TOEFL reading score with AI. The first way is going to show you how to get better at knowing about the topics, and the second way is going to show you how to improve your vocabulary. But before I do that, a word of warning. This is not for people who have less than a month to prepare. This is for people who need to improve their English fluency. If you have less than a month to prepare, I would suggest the TOEFL emergency course. There's schedules for 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and 1 month. Everything you need is right there. So I would recommend to take that course if you need help and you have less than a month to prepare. This is for people who have a bit of time and also need to improve their English fluency. You need to improve your English fluency a bit. So I'm going to show you how to do that with AI. The first way to use AI, we're going to talk about chatbots. We're going to use OpenAI, and we're going to talk about topics. Now this is for people who, maybe you get a topic about astronomy or history and you just don't know a lot about the topic and it's really difficult. So I'm going to show you some ways to practice that type of topic. All right, so how are we going to do it? Well, the first thing you can do, you don't have to do this, but you can use a plugin called Talk to ChatGPT. So instead of you typing everything out, you can actually have a conversation and speak. So I recommend installing that in Chrome to make it more of a natural conversation. Now you might be thinking, why am I going to talk to a chatbot? I need to practice my reading. Well, this way you're having a conversation about a topic you don't know very well. When you are engaged in a conversation and talking about it, you're much more involved, you're thinking about it more than just passively reading. So in the past, if you didn't know about a topic, you'd probably Google it or you'd read a book about it. Now what you can do is that you can have a conversation with a chatbot about it and go back and forth and ask questions and have a much more interactive experience. That's why you're going to use this chatbot, this AI tool, to practice reading. Get the information deeper in your mind when you have a conversation about it than if you just read about it and didn't talk about it. So you're going to put this prompt into ChatGPT. This is all free. You're my English teacher. My first language is Spanish. I'm studying English. Okay, so you can say whatever your first language is. Your task is to have a conversation with me. I will choose the topic. Please speak at an intermediate English level, so you don't want too difficult vocabulary. And do you understand? You could change the English level, you can change the first language, but this is the prompt you'll use. And I'm just going to give an example of talking about swarm intelligence. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. We're going to talk about it with ChatGPT right now. So let's take a look. So as you can see, I already put it in just to make this a bit faster. And you can see too that I have the prompt up here. And I accidentally put the prompt in twice, so that's okay. And so yeah, I understand. And today I would like to talk about swarm intelligence. Do you know about it? And then it starts talking about it, right? Now I can turn this microphone on and I can speak, and it'll also speak as well. I can listen to it speaking.
Certainly, I'm familiar with swarm intelligence. It's a fascinating concept with...
Now that might not sound too appealing to you, but anyway, you can do that. Also, you can press this button and you can speak as well. And when you speak, it'll write down everything that you're saying, and then it will come up into the chat. I'm going to cancel this here. Let me jump back to the presentation. Now at this point you might be thinking, okay, I get it. It's kind of interesting, but also a little weird. I don't know if I'm going to do this. That's okay. You should feel a little bit like strange about it, not sure if this will be helpful. Let me go a little bit further and explain how you're going to practice with this in a way that's going to improve your reading. After you put in the prompt and you do all this stuff, here are some key phrases you can do to keep the conversation going. So could you repeat that in fewer words, please? If the chatbot is speaking too much about it, I'm sorry, could you explain that in simpler terms? If it's too complicated. That's interesting. So basically, and then you paraphrase what the chatbot said. And you can see if what you think it means matches. You can say, yeah, that's right, or I think you missed something here. What else should I know about swarm intelligence? So you ask additional questions. What else is most important? And you can make it very specific to what you need. So you can practice paraphrasing. You can repeat what was said. You can ask it to explain in shorter words. You can ask it for simpler vocabulary if your level's not good enough. You also want to have a goal. You can have a goal that you want to keep the conversation going for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I would start with 2 minutes, just really short and sweet, and then go further if you want. Try to answer 5 multiple choice questions. So at the end of the conversation, you say to ChatGPT, "Thank you for the conversation. Please make 5 multiple choice questions about swarm intelligence based on what we talked about." Write this down. Maybe I'll put this in the chat. I'll put all these prompts in the, not the chat, in the description. I'll put all these prompts in the description so you can just copy and paste them and practice them on your own. One little bonus tip is to keep track of the topics. 1 week after your conversation, try to speak about the topic with the following prompt. So the idea here is that after you have the conversation about swarm intelligence, you're probably going to forget about it next week, or you won't remember that much. So have it, in a Google Sheet or, written down somewhere that you talked about swarm intelligence, and then start talking about it today and see if you remember what you talked about. Here's the prompt you can use. "I'm a student studying about swarm intelligence. I would like to check if I understand the topic. Please listen to my explanation and give me feedback. Do you understand?" You got a teacher in your pocket pretty much right now with this OpenAI stuff. You can just have a conversation about a topic, review it, ask questions about it, paraphrase, and this is how you're going to improve your knowledge of topics. Now let's talk about using ChatGPT for vocabulary. A similar prompt, slightly different, and this is where you are finding new words. This is where you want to learn some new vocabulary. So what you're going to do is that when ChatGPT talks to you and tells you about swarm intelligence, you're going to try to find words that you want to practice, that you want to use, that you want to learn. That's why in red I highlighted advanced English level. In the past, I put intermediate English level just to have a simple conversation, but now advanced. I'm saying I want an advanced conversation. This way, you can find some words that you want to practice, that you want to study, that you think are important. At the end of the conversation, you say, "Create 5 flashcards of new vocabulary words or phrases," and it'll make them for you. This is the prompt you'll use. "Please make 5 flashcards based on our conversation. Please only use sentences or phrases." You don't want to study just words by themselves. It's not so helpful. You want to see it in a sentence. "Do not include individual words. Please include the English and Spanish translation." You don't have to do that, but I do that. "Please randomize the order. Make it random so it does not just start from the beginning of the conversation. So that way it's more challenging if it's all in random order. I don't just remember the conversation and, get answers based on that. All right, so that's what you do for vocabulary. It's pretty simple. So this is the step-by-step process you use for practicing with ChatGPT. Identify a goal. Learn 5 new words, have a 3-minute conversation. Do it. Type the text or have a conversation with an AI chatbot, and try to review your knowledge, either with flashcards or by speaking about the topic again later. And that's all you do. But there is something you can do for vocabulary if you want to practice vocabulary. Let's say, for example, you learn the word monumental, and that's a hard word to use in conversation. People don't usually say that. How are you going to practice it? Well, I'm going to show you that in the next video about using AI for TOEFL listening. So check that out, and I will see you there.